9 electoral votes here, and of course both candidates really wanting those, needing them. Will we become one of those swing states? Really depends on what happens on the East Coast, and even more important than that, your vote. How will it count? Well, with us right now, Secretary of State Mike Coffman.
Nice to have you back with us, and you guys have done a great job. Apparently 64% of people have already voted. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we had over half the ballots cast already in the state of Colorado between early voting and mail-in voting. We still have about around 360,000 mail-in votes yet to come in and be counted, so we expect to be swamped with those things today on Election Day.
And with polls opening in just about 20 minutes, are there any anticipated issues that people should be thinking about? We've kind of been talking about 7 a.m., noon, and 5 p.m.
Sure.
Expect long lines, but with so many people having already voted, do you think that will be circumvented?
I still think there could be long lines, but we want those lines to be manageable, and there's been significant changes. We not only have electronic voting machines at these polling places that have had problems before, but we also have paper ballots on top of that, so that's going to help an awful lot. So I think we're looking pretty good, but I think it's been stated before, don't wear election paraphernalia, for against a campaign, for against a ballot issue, and also check and make sure where your polling place is before you go out, because it may not be the same place you went to last year.
That's right, 2006, and those inherent problems there. We've gone back to precinct voting here, which is probably a good thing too. It diffuses it out a bit.
Sure.
Bring your identification. What specific form of ID do you have to have?
Well, Colorado has some very liberal laws when it comes to identification. If you have a government-issued ID card, particularly a state driver's license, you are supposed to show that, required by law to show that. If you don't have that, there are other forms of identification you can use, such as the copy of a utility bill or a bank statement with your name on it.
Okay, that's good news there. And any other tips or anything that you should tell people that they need to know before they leave? Some people are probably getting ready at this very moment to head on out to vote. Have you heard of any long lines just yet?
No, we haven't heard of any long lines just yet. I think what I would encourage people to do is not to wait until just before the polls close. Now, I will tell you this. If you are in line at 7 o'clock, no matter how long that line is, they will mark the end of the line.
Okay.
And everybody in that line will have an opportunity to vote. So the polls just don't close at 7 o'clock. They will stay open until everybody has an opportunity to vote that is in the line at 7 o'clock.
And one other quick question before you go, Mr. Coffman, and that is, when do you expect to see these results? When are we going to really start seeing returns, official returns?
We're hearing tonight even, maybe towards the end of the night. Is that possible?
Well, I've talked to all the county clerks individually about that issue, and so what I've encouraged them to do, and by and large, with the exception of a few rural counties, they will do this, and that they will release shortly after 7 p.m. the results of everything that came in at least up to Monday night, and hopefully some stuff on Tuesday. But so that will be, so we'll have well over 50% of the votes. People will know by 8 p.m. at least the direction that Colorado is going. However, it will take much longer because of all the big volume of mail-in ballots, of paper ballots that just take longer to count than electronic voting. So it will be into Wednesday before we have the final unofficial tally.
The good news is we're going to have a good indication by the end of the evening, because so many people have participated in that early balloting. Hopefully it goes well today.
It will go well.
Secretary of State Mike Coffman.
It will go well.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. We understand that Barack Obama is voting right now. Let's check this out. There he is in his home state of Illinois, and yes, he's registered to vote.
And I've got a slight hunch of who he's voting for. It looks like he's brought his daughters perhaps along with him there to go on into the voting booth. But a very exciting moment, of course, from Senator Obama. He's had a little bit of bitter and a little bit of sweet all in the same couple of days, losing his beloved grandmother, of course.
Yeah, that was tough last night.
Yeah, he had said that he'd really hoped that she would hang on until Election Day, but nonetheless, he's forged ahead and is still campaigning here on November 4th. There
was a guy on the East Coast here a couple of years ago who thought it might be a nice tradition, a gesture of good faith for each of the candidates to vote for the other on Election Day, just because of all the fighting and so forth, to know that you voted for him and he voted for you. And I don't think that's going to happen, but it was a nice thought at the time.
Absolutely. Well, live pictures there of Senator Obama.